For more information, contact us on 0997 277 720 or on 0997 452 093. Book now and let us help you create unforgettable moments. You're watching Luntha TV and it's time for our 7:30 news bulletin. Today with me, Tandi Wimzumara. Let's have a look at our top stories before we begin. Pope Francis urges bold action for Earth and Peace on Earth Day. President Chakwera underscores the importance of investing in the mining sector. Climate change impact scorches Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe with hunger crisis. And in other news, UK Parliament passes controversial asylum bill amidst demands for amendments. We have the details of these stories and more. Just stay with us. Pope Francis reaffirmed his call for proactive measures to safeguard the collective home and foster global peace on Earth Day, celebrated on the 22nd of April. Since its inception in 1970, this global observance has aimed to highlight the urgent environmental issues our planet faces and mobilize collective efforts to address them. We have more details on this Vatican News report read by Bernard Mwanza.
World Earth Day serves as a platform for individuals, communities, organizations, and governments to unite in efforts to restore ecosystems, address climate change, and preserve biodiversity for future generations. Pope Francis, in a recent post on his social media platform, lamented the lack of environmental protection efforts by his generation, highlighting the connection between environmental issues and global conflicts. His message echoed the themes of his 2015 encyclical Laudato Si, which calls for stewardship of nature by individuals, communities, and governments. Each year, Earth Day focuses on a specific theme to raise awareness of pressing environmental concerns. This year, the 54th edition, themed Planet vs. Plastics, targets plastic pollution and advocates for reducing its use and production. The campaign emphasizes the need for increased research into the health effects of plastic exposure and advocates for transparent sharing of findings with the public. The campaign's goal is to eliminate single-use plastics by 2030 and incorporate this commitment into the United Nations Treaty on Plastic Pollution by 2024, ensuring global cooperation in addressing this urgent issue.
President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera has highlighted the importance of investing in the mining sector, noting that it is key in the transformation of Malawi's economic growth. He has made the sentiment earlier today at the start of the inaugural Malawi Mining Investment Forum inside the Agriculture, Tourism and Mining ATM Promotion Week at Bingu International Convention Center BICC in Lilongwe. Charity Chilanga has filed a report read in our studios by Vincent Kwawala.
President Chakwera has faulted the laxity in the mining sector for hurting the country underscoring the need for strong laws to protect the country's treasure that will ensure transparency and fairness in the exploitation of country's mineral resources for the development of the country. He says, despite having avalanche of minerals such as gold, rare earth, rutile, and others buried under its soils, Malawi remained poor. The Malawi leader further says the idea of Malawi Mining Forum is to help find solutions which could help the country realize more benefits from its minerals, saying he already ordered authorities to establish mining authority which will scrutinize mining agreements and contracts. Chakwera has expressed optimism that the minerals in the country can boost its economical status within the next 6 years, provided they are protected, given necessary infrastructure, and safeguarded from exploitation through unfair mining contracts.
In the next 6 years, if we all love our country, protect our minerals, provide the needed infrastructure, and refuse to sign any contract that does not guarantee return on investment for Malawi and for Malawians who deserve to be the primary beneficiaries of all mining riches of this country.
In her remarks, Mining Minister Monica Chianganamuno held the forum for serving a platform for different stakeholders to discuss strategies for attracting investments, fostering partnership, and ravaging the mining sector for sustainable economic development. Chianganamuno also said her ministry is committed to provide a conducive environment for investments, thereby boosting the industry.
Let us work together to leverage our resources, build capacity, and create a conducive environment for investment that will generate long-term benefits for our nation and its people. Your Excellency, I would like to pledge our commitment to ensure the growth of the sector. We will make sure that the minerals that were given to us by the Almighty God benefit Malawians through job and wealth creation as espoused in the Vision 2063 and the ATM strategy.
Meanwhile, Katswiri Holdings Limited chairperson Hilton Enea Banda has been on delays in signing mining development agreements between government and mining investors, which he says impairs the country's mining sector.
To create a culture of mining culture, I would urge Your Excellency if we can be able to develop curriculums that will be able to give education to our youngsters in the villages as we introduced the subject called agriculture. Why can't we establish a subject called mining? Because if we establish this subject, would also ease and the tension, which the challenge which ourselves as the mining developers, which we have, where our communities, they confuse between mining and exploration.
The theme for the inaugural conference is Transforming the Nation Through Sustainable Mineral Extraction. The forum is part of the ATM Promotion Week, has been organized by the Malawi government in partnership with the private sector, development partners, and other stakeholders to showcase and promote Malawi's mining sector.
Hearing of a conspiracy and attempts to influence awarding of fuel supply contracts involving former Energy Minister Newton Kambala and others will continue on Thursday, where defense lawyer Wapona Kita is expected to finalize his cross-examination on the principal witness, Helen Muluma. Kita took Buluma through the furnace of cross-examination, including her involvement in internal procurement committees and whether, in her conversation with the three accused, there was a directive to influence her, as she alleges. In an interview, Kita disclosed having filed an application before court to disregard Buluma's evidence, which are recorded audios as they were recorded illegally. We have more details on this report filed by Robert Edward.
According to Chief Resident Magistrate Madaliso Jimwaza, the matter was scheduled to proceed on Wednesday, but due to other court commitment, it shall resume on Thursday. The three, former Energy Minister Newton Kambala, former Presidential Advisor Christian Mabanda, and a former President Enoch Jehana, are answering two charges of conspiracy to influence a public officer to commit a crime and attempt to influence a public officer, both contrary to Corrupt Practices Act. Lawyer representing Chaima, Banda Waponakita, told the court on Tuesday that following a Supreme Court ruling, he has filed an application for the court to disregard audio recordings evidence as they were illegally recorded.
Yeah, I think what I was saying is there has been a watershed ruling from the Supreme Court of Appeal. The 9 judges have issued a ruling which came out last week, which is to the effect that illegal obtained evidence in Malawi is inadmissible. That is from now onwards. So it's a declaration which the Supreme Court has made. Now you remember in this case, the court already found that there was illegal obtained evidence, only that I think the court was saying is we'll see how much weight to attach to it. So I think what the Supreme Court says is don't attach any weight at all.
The court will give specific date to hear the application. Former Nokima acting CEO Helen Buluma is the principal witness in the case and alleges that the 3 conspired and attempted to influence her to award fuel supply contract to Fineje, among others. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiatives, CIDED, has expressed worry over lack of Parliament's commitment to table the sugar bill of 2021, citing significance in regulating the sugar industry. This follows the unprecedented sugar price hike that both Illovo Sugar and Salima Sugar companies have done on Monday by 15%. CIDED Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa says the current Control of Goods Act alone cannot fully regulate the industry as it at the same time protects and serves the interests of the companies. Namiwa has told reporters in Lilongwe that both Minister of Agriculture Sam Kawari and Leader of the House Richard Mandobanda should do everything possible to ensure that the bill is discussed for smooth operations of the sugar industry. There was no immediate comment from the government side, but this is part of what Namiwa had to say.
Malawians are going through because of the harsh economic environment. In the case of the sugar industry, Malawians have a reason to feel let down by Minister of Trade and Industry, Honorable Sostin Gwengwe, under whose watch major players in the sugar industry.
3 SADC countries of Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Zambia are in dire humanitarian crisis following drought and El Nino that have scorched the region. Sounding an SOS on the matter, CARE International in the countries has since appealed for international donor support for the affected population to be bailed out of their starvation and build resilience. Speaking in Lilongwe during a joint press conference, officials highlighted the situation. CARE Malawi Country Director Pamela Kuwali said for Malawi, prioritizing the resilience strategy should be the way to go. We have more details on this report, followed by Robert Edward, and read in our studios by Bernard Manza.
With Early Warnings Assessment Report projecting 4.4 million people to be food insecure in Malawi, and President's declaration of state of national disaster requiring $20 million, her neighbors, Zambia and Zimbabwe, share the status quo due to similar climate change causes. This scorched situation is manifesting through droughts, below normal rainfall, and the El Nino in Malawi, among others, creating a hunger situation in Zambia where 9.8 million people have been affected by drought, with 75.7% of people in 84 districts having nothing left as food stock. In Zimbabwe, 2.7 million people are in need due to prolonged dry spell. CARE Malawi Country Director Pamela Kuwali disclosed during a press conference in Lilongwe on Monday that the organization has locally pumped in $1 million out of the needed $20 million to help respond to the crisis, and is among others implementing the National Resilience Strategy, viewed to be the only way out for Malawi if government prioritizes it.
So government has got what it takes because we have the National Resilience Strategy, and as CARE Malawi we have been piloting that in Mangochi and Zomba with support from USAID, and there is so much that we have learned. Implement the National Resilience Strategy, make it a priority. Government prioritizes education, it prioritizes health, it prioritizes agriculture. And now we have noted that we are moving towards agriculture, tourism, and mining. But my argument, or our argument, is agriculture, tourism, and mining, resilience must be a cross-cutting issue.
The organization's country directors for these countries have since sounded an SOS to international partners for support, taking cognizance to the fact that women are victims of feeling the heat of climate change impact in the countries. During the conference, CARE further understands that in the long run, building resilience and understanding the major causes of the current people's vulnerability and spearheading recovery through promotion of sustainable farming practices is the best way out.
You're still watching news coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center, but before we proceed, let's have another look at the headlines. Pope Francis urges bold action for Earth and peace on Earth Day. President Chakwera underscores the importance of investing in the mining sector. Climate change impact scorches Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe with hunger crisis. And in other news, UK Parliament passes controversial asylum bill amidst demands for amendments. Malawi's education sector is expected to have a new curriculum from the next academic year. This comes after government engaged different stakeholders to revise curriculum for primary, secondary, and teacher education for Malawi to produce highly knowledgeable people to help the country develop. Emmanuel Shiwocha has filed this report.
There is light at the end of the tunnel as the new curriculum of education will be rolled out from next academic year. Minister of Education spokesperson Patson Kumwanela says the new curriculum for schools and colleges has been revised to be aligned globally, continentally, and regionally. Nkumwanela added that currently the National Education Conference on Schools and Colleges Curriculum and Assessment Review is underway in Mangochi, which has brought together business persons, faith communities, and experts, among others, to give their insights on the new curriculum.
It is very important to note that the review of the curriculum has been necessitated by the global trends. You know, we are in the fourth revolution, and there is a lot of change globally, continentally, and also regionally. So what I want to do as a ministry is to bring forth the current curriculum before experts, have it analyzed, Malawians have it analyzed, the business community, faith community, etc., to give the inputs on how they think the curriculum could be reviewed, what they want the curriculum to have. Being mindful that we also want to align it to the Malawi 2063 vision. This is very crucial. We are talking of introduction of new subjects, for example.
There has been concerns from Malawians that the curriculum are outdated. The new curriculum will be aligned with Malawi's 2063 Vision Development Aspirations. For Luntha TV, this is Emmanuel Juocha.
Department of Disaster Management Affairs, Dodma in Balaga, has called on well-wishers to render assistance to people that have been affected by El Nino in the district. Speaking during a Find Your Feet Lean Season exit meeting over the weekend, an officer in the department, Alige Milanzi, said his government is doing all it can to assist the affected people. Well-wishers are also encouraged to do the same. Andrew Nandolo has filed this report.
Milanzi said every year Balaga district experiences heavy rain or drought due to its geographic position. He said during the 2023-2024 lean season, about 29,283 households were targeted for the lean season intervention. This year, due to El Nino, many people are going to be food insecure. In Balaka alone, according to agricultural production.
In an interview, MPC Director General George Kasugula said the organization
estimate survey shows that about 60% of smallholder farmers are to be affected with the looming hunger before the lean season.
Yeah, so far we have submitted the reports to the Department of Disaster and Management Affairs, taking into consideration that still we have the hunger situation on the ground. And as well, you know that through the Office of Agriculture, they usually also conducted the assessment. So we also submitted the reports to the authorities so that they may also assist. They haven't yet promised, but still there is a hope that the government of Malawi will intervene and help the people from Balaka District Council.
In his remarks, Victor Chagoma, who is Fund Your Feet Lean Season Response Officer, said he is very thankful to World Food Programme for the monetary intervention to the people of Balaka and asked other partners to borrow a leaf.
The recommendation, we have told them that the hunger is still there. If there is, with regards to El Nino, it means that most of the smallholder farmers, they didn't grow as they are supposed to have. This message goes to all other stakeholders. Whenever we are, we need to cooperate, coordinate, and help the nation, more especially in Balaka, where there's much hunger.
Hunger situation in Balaka district is severe in traditional authorities, Palula, Nyanyara, and Mgoma, just to mention but a few areas.
On rather a sad note, tributes are pouring in over the death of legendary former Malawi Broadcasting Corporation MBC broadcaster Geoffrey Kabusa. Kabusa, fondly known by Mr. Splashed, died in the wee hours of Tuesday at the Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital after a long illness. One of his family members, Yamikani Kabusa, has confirmed the development in an interview with the press, saying vigil will be in Mashinjiri, Luntha, and burial in Malosa, Zomba. We have more details on this report, followed by Herbert Kalanda and read in our studios by Phyllis Chizombe.
In an interview, MPC Director General George Kasugula said the organization was saddened by Kabusa's death, as he was one of the great contributors to setting a foundation for television in Malawi.
The MBC family were saddened by the death of Geoffrey Kabusa, because he was always an inspiration to us. Just seeing him, just knowing that he's there, and what he did at MBC was an inspiration. He was among those that started the TVM then. We decided to have the TV station apart from the radio station MBC. So they set the best for television.
In a separate interview, Media Institute of Southern Africa Malawi chapter Deputy Chairperson Chisomo Nguluwe described the death of prominent television broadcaster Geoffrey Kabusa as a devastating blow to the media industry.
As Mr. Malawi, we are deeply, hugely saddened by the death of legendary broadcaster, one of the trailblazing television personalities in Malawi, Mr. Geoffrey Kabusa, who was popularly referred to as Mr. Splash. It is very saddening because, as we are all aware, he contributed a lot to the development of the television sector in Malawi in terms of presentation. He contributed to the development of the music industry by promoting various musicians. I personally worked with him as well. He was a man who was willing to help up-and-coming presenters, journalists, and I'm sure there are others who also watched from a distance.
Musicians have also described Kabusa as a great pathmaker to many musicians in the country. Renowned television personality Geoffrey Kabusa will be laid to rest on Thursday at his Nkanda village, Malosa, in Zomba district. The remains of Kabusa was collected from Mtuzi mortuary to Mchinji. On Wednesday, there will be a church service at Safilunzu CCP before burial in Zomba. Kapusa died on Tuesday morning at the Queen's Elizabeth Central Hospital in Blantyre after a long illness. He once worked for Malawi Broadcasting Corporation and had a brief stint with Times Group. Kapusa, he became a household name under the name Splash On, a tagline he used in the famous music program.
Now, in other news, a controversial United Kingdom government bill to send asylum seekers to Rwanda has finally secured the approval of the upper house of parliament, which had demanded numerous amendments as Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promised to start the first flights to Kigali within weeks. Sunak hopes the legislation will boost the dismal fortunes of his Conservative Party in an election widely expected to take place later this year. We have more details on this Al Jazeera News report read by Phyllis Jizombe.
An appointed body had registered endorsing the contentious proposal without additional protections. However, they yielded after Sunak threatened to extend parliamentary sessions until the bill was approved. The Luntha initiative, condemned by UN human rights experts and asylum advocate groups, has faced legal battles since its inspection as a measure to reduce channel crossings. In June 2022, the first deportation attempt was halted at the 11th hour due to an injunction from the European Court of Human Rights. The next year, the UK's Supreme Court deemed the practice of sending asylum seekers to Kigali without return options illegal and dangerous. The House of Lords criticized the latest bill as insufficient and called for amendments, including an independent verification of Rwanda's safety status. Ultimately, the Lords conceded and allowed the bill to pass unaltered. The legislation is anticipated to receive royal assent from King Charles later this week, formalizing its enactment into law.
And that also brings us to the end of what we had for you in this edition of our news bulletin. But before we leave, here's a reminder of our top stories. Pope Francis urges bold action for Earth and peace on Earth Day. President Chakwera underscores the importance of investing in the mining sector. Climate change impact scorches Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe with hunger crisis. And in other news, UK Parliament passes controversial asylum bill amidst demands for amendments. You have been with me, Tandi Wimzumara. Thank you for keeping me company and continue following the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Goodbye for now and do stay safe.